In today's House hearing for the Defense Department's proposed budget next year, a worried party list Solon expressed dread on the country's willingness to put itself in the middle of a geopolitical tussle between the two mightiest superpowers on the planet. But Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. was quick to allay her fears and assure her all the country wants is its rightful claim to its 200-mile exclusive economic zones and legitimate maritime territories. Our Noel Talakay has more on the requested $250 billion budget of the DND for next year in this report.
The Department of National Defense, or DND, laid out to the House Committee on Appropriations today its programs, services, and other endeavors for which its 2025 budget is to earmark and spend on. But during the budget hearing, some issues were raised, such as the plan for broadening the interpretation of the Mutual Defense Treaty between the U.S. and the Philippines.
There are ongoing conversations to broaden the interpretations of the Mutual Defense Treaty between the Philippines and the United States in response to China's growing aggression toward Filipino aircraft and vessels in the West Philippine Sea. Ngayon, ang tanong ko po, anong specific na babaguhin sa MDT?
The response of Defense Secretary Gibo Teodoro:
wala pong babaguhin sa MDT. It's just we don't want to get canalized on an interpretation on an attack of an armed vessel. It is more for strategic purposes because China uses non-lawful and system of aggression which a static interpretation and static processes will not address.
The Secretary also assured the public that this move will not entail of construction of additional EDCA sites and existing military bases in the country. They don't have yet specifics on broadening the interpretation of the Mutual Defense Treaty, but will make it more dynamic to address all sorts of threats.
No, Your Honor, this does not entail the additional EDCA sites because we are sticking to the 9 EDCA facilities, but it entails perhaps interoperable measures to address China's creative and varied tactics on a defense-to-defense level.
But Representative Rosas has only one concern.
Kinaklaro ko lang, Mr. Chair, kasi ang ayaw natin, if it will serve to heighten the risk of the military confrontation with the Philippines, potentially becoming a pawn sa power struggle ng US at China, ayaw din naman natin yon, o sa adversaries ng US.
Teodoro stressed the government just wants the 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zones. On other areas, the country has legitimate jurisdiction over as provided by international law to be exclusively for the Filipinos. He also said the government is just putting up a strong foundation on a credible deterrent or defense posture.
Well noted, Madam Chair. I think that is the same concern. However, we have to point out that the aggressor here is only one actor. That's why I said China is the greatest disruptor of peace in the West Philippine Sea.
During the budget hearing, the DND underscored that one of the major thrusts are sovereignty and territorial integrity and international security and stability.
The Committee on Appropriations approved the proposed 2025 budget of the Department of National Defense, amounting to over 254 billion pesos. This will then be discussed at the plenary. Noel Talakay from the National TV Network for New and Better Philippines.